The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaru Productions.
Hello, everybody! So, somebody in our, I put out a thing a little bit ago, Amaraxis had us do this idea where it's basically a villain retrospective, which we haven't really gone into any of the villains outside of maybe the review, really in depth. And I feel like...
We have in some other videos, we've gushed about them, we've ranted about them, but as far as like just making a video focusing on one in particular, that's what this is going to be.
And I really want to do the one that we probably talked about the most on this channel. Volt from Liveman. Because we talk about Liveman a lot.
Or their full named Armed Brain Army Volt. Japanese Buso Zunugon Boruto.
Yes. Not the Naruto sequel.
Yes, that's correct, Marcus. I'm glad you pointed that out.
But yeah, we're going to talk about Volt today.
Yes.
I have been wanting to rewatch Liveman. The villains really make... I'm not even going to say make the show, but really enhance.
They definitely help it.
Yes, because everybody in this show is pretty damn great. So, except for Black and Green and Green's terrible focus episode and that dinosaur episode too. But, yeah. Livehead has like 3 out there episodes where you're just like, why?
It happens.
But yeah, today we're going to talk about Volt. As an overview for this, and sort of how we're going to do this going forward, it's not going to be like a good, bad, or terrible bad anything. It's just I sort of want to focus on some of the aspects of the villain groups themselves. This one is probably one of the most malicious that we have, where there is like no true redemption for a good portion of this cast.
Yeah.
It's just like you even have the main villain working against everybody else under him for his own really selfish needs. Joji Nakata does so amazing.
That's Professor Bias. Great Professor Bias.
And it's just like you really end up the charisma, the uniqueness, the nerve, and the talent that this man has.
It's also the head of the organization is a man in a costume as opposed to like a monster.
I love
a monster suit, because we actually get Nakata's face, we get his expressions, and we get his like performance more than instead of a voiceover or as a monster in a suit.
I miss when they did that. I really want to. Like, they're doing it more or less this year.
I loved it when Kira Major did it.
Yeah, they're doing it more or less this year with the Cerebrans. So, but there's no true like central villain in Dawn Brothers as of the moment. Although we've sort of gotten really hints of who they are.
And it's not just him, but it's all the villains, really.
Yeah.
But because for all of them, you can see their face.
Yeah.
And their acting is what shines through, and that's one of the things I think that makes Liveman stand out, or Volt in particular stand out among other villains. Is you're never looking at the face of. Well, let me rephrase. You're always looking at the face of the man that is the monster.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a monster.
Yeah.
Or, like a fabricated kaiju suit of something.
And it really just makes you associate so much more with just like, oh, I can see parts of humanity in this person because I'm looking at a human face. And my God, does that work to this show's benefit?
Because it's just the face that we see for a lot of them, and then the rest of them is transformed into some sort of kaijin form.
Yeah. My God. Sorry, I'm just like thinking about, especially the way that the characters, most of the villains ended in this, with Professor Bias making 2 others to sort of work for him, with Bucci and Gildos. And you actually have one person, only one of the villains survive at the end of this because he turns back into a good guy for the most part. I sort of wish we got to see him more, especially at the end of the show, because Go's whole thing with Joe was, they're the parallel. So it just made it that much more. But Professor Bias made 2 other villains like just straight up robots, programmed them to make them think they were aliens, to make them like rival students. To at this point, it was just Kemp and Mazinda, and I think Oblar was there for a little bit after they came in, but he ended up leaving. He defected because he saw what was going to happen, and they basically kicked him out anyway. But
can't sit with us anymore.
Yeah, you can't sit with us. He made these two other ones, and when they more or less served their purpose or became a little bit too aware, he just straight up blew them up because they had.
You've outlived your usefulness.
Yeah, and they're just like, I'm gonna go ahead and take these other brains from these people.
There's definitely you said it earlier. There's a ruthlessness.
Yeah.
To not only them, but this whole organization that we haven't really seen since.
Yeah.
I would say just in terms of the...
Maybe, and I'm going to say that solely for Jetman.
Okay, I was going to say, are you talking about Rider, Sentai, or like anything else in Toku that comes to mind?
I'm going to say solely for Jetman for that one.
Okay.
I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, let's get into some of these people a little bit. I want to talk about... Oh, God. Ashura was a sad case. He was an idiot. And then I forget exactly what, but something made him into a genius temporarily. And then his plans really stopped working. He really went back to more brawn versus brain. And Dr. Bias didn't like that. And he was just like, your brain is not working. You listen to the
professor here.
So he basically set it up to get him killed. And I'm just like, this show, though. How dare this show? This show really did a good job of making us care about the villains to some degree.
It's not necessarily that you like them, but but they are engaging and you're invested in them as characters.
You're really invested.
Which is more than you can say, because a lot of Toku, I've said this in other videos, it's melodrama. It is the forces of light against the forces of darkness. It's black and white, good versus evil. And we're not so much invested in the villains as characters as much as we are invested in watching our heroes defeat them. And in this one, we're invested in seeing, well, what are they going to do next? Like, how is like, what kind of monster or challenge is Bias going to throw them, and how is he going to try and outsmart them? I mean, like, getting back to the beginning, just right at the beginning of the show, friends, why did you sell your soul to the devil?
Yeah.
And that seduction of the dark side, and how they were, because we see them get turned and brought over, seduced by the power, and then the power of knowledge and the power of evil and whatever Bias has promised them. And then by the end of the show, I'm going to bring it up again because we have to bring it up every time we talk about Liveman. Check it off your bingo card. Mazinda running on the beach. Mazinda running away at the end when just everything that she has built up, everything that she's been promised has come crashing down, and she's just running away in terror, just trying to get away.
Especially because when you see that she was the one, I believe it was both her and Kemp who were set after Go when he ended up defecting. Because, he felt like he wasn't as smart as the others, and he ended up changing his body, and then his body got changed back after he betrayed Joe. But Go, on the other hand, I don't believe he actually killed anybody, which I think made his defection work the most. Just like, at least not directly, he didn't kill anybody, so they're like, all right, we want you back. Especially Joe, because he and Joe were very close. And seeing all of that is just like, oh, I can see, it makes logical sense how we got to this point. Kemp was the one who shot the two friends at the beginning. Mazinda was the one who has killed a couple people and was sent after Go when he was leaving. And Ashura just didn't deserve it. He wasn't supposed to be there in the first place.
You're not even supposed to be here.
Yeah, and then he died for it.
Yeah.
Because he just wanted to be better, and that did not work, so he got killed. But Go was the one who's just like, all right, I'm getting out. And the Livemen helped him get out. Written by Jordan Peele.
There's your god now.
But yeah, Mazinda though.
You said it, buddy. You said it.
Her story is, I don't know if it's heartbreaking or anything like that, but man, is it engaging. The finale with her outsmarting Bias by completely cyberizing her body to turn it into an android to make sure that he could not get her brain and take her knowledge and experiences by turning her brain into just a robot was amazing. And then seeing everything with Megami try to help at the end to try and get her away, but Mizuna's just like, no, I'm going to die on my own terms. And then she blows herself up by jumping off of a cliff.
Yeah.
And then Kemp goes crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll give everything to Miya-sama. So he gives up his
Everything.
brain and turns into just a straight up monster.
Yeah.
That they end up having to destroy, and seeing Red Falcon's just like the look on his face. And having to beat this monster, knowing that it was once his friend. This show is very... God, it really makes you... I don't even know how to really put it into words.
It makes you feel.
Yeah, it really does.
It is a Toku show that makes you feel something on an emotional level. It is engaging. And it is engaging in a way that isn't, ooh, pretty colors and explosions, as some of them can be.
And then with Bias and Gash going the... what is the thing from the Doom Patrol? Monsieur Mala.
Oh, Monsieur Mala and Brain?
Yeah. Basically, that relationship at the end of it is just like, Jesus. This show was very good. This show made it so it's just like, I get where they were going with this. And BS basically making everybody except Red Falcon, because he was on the ship at the time, bow down to him. It's just like, it's so well done. And we talk about Liveman a lot for a reason. It's just, I don't think we've gotten to that point where I feel as invested in the villain cast since then. I feel like, weirdly enough, the closest we might have gotten might have been Tokucast.
I was going to say, that's probably going to be our next one.
Yeah. Tokucast, Ryu and Melee, Vyram from Jetman, and all the backstabbing that happened there.
Super Major, I think, was great too.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. And once it's over, Dawn Brothers, that's up there. That has to be talked about.
Well, we'll see how that one ends first. But
yeah.
Hopefully it is.
But yeah, Volt is just, it's incredibly well done. If you have not seen Liveman, go watch it. Watch our review of it. It's just a very well constructed show for the most part.
Keep in mind it's an older review, so
yeah, Black and Green exists. 3 episodes are just like, why? But after that, yeah, it's still a very well constructed show, and I still really like it. That's how I sort of been wanting to rewatch it. I watched that show early in my Sentai like watching list, and I rewatched it one other time, and it's been about when we review it was the last time I saw it.
Yeah, same.
So I'm just like, I sort of want to rewatch it to get that feeling again, because I've forgotten stuff about the show, but I remember the villains, and that's what this is about.
There you go.
So yeah, let us know what you think about this little series that we have going on right now. Let us know what you think about Volt in the comments below.
Please do.
Don't forget to join us on all the things, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.